Welcome. Today we are going to discuss famous lines from novels. These lines are important for UGC perspective and UGC exam. Very lines are frequently asked by UGC in different years. Hence, the value of these lines is more as compared to other lines. It doesn't mean that we have to remember all the lines of novels, but there are few selected novels which I am bringing today for this lecture. And the very first line is, this is a very famous line. Most of you perhaps are aware about this line, and the line is, "It was the best of time, it was the worst of times." The very famous line is from Charles Dickens' novel A Tale of Two Cities, published in 1859. This line is frequently asked either in one way or other, sometime in multiple questions or just to match the lines. In that sense, that is most often quoted line. Hence, we are bringing this line in this. I repeat the line again. It was the best of time, it was the worst of time. Tale of Two Cities, Charles Dickens, 1859. The very second line is, "It in my younger and more vulnerable year, my father gave me a piece of advice." This line is from Scott Fitzgerald's famous novel The Great Gatsby, published in the year 1925. With this novel begins the lost generation, or the jazz generation. Hence, the value of these line is more. I repeat the line: "In my younger and more vulnerable year, my father gave me a piece of advice." The line from Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, 1925. Third line is, "It was the bright cold day in April and clock were striking 30." This line is from George Orwell's 1984, published in the year 1949. This is dystopian literature, and we know more about it. Big Brother is watching you, and several other things. So the very opening line of this is, "It was bright cold day in April and clocks were striking 13." Sorry, 13 never appears. Like we know 12, clock is always 12, and here is the 13. So that is a kind of difference. And the next line is again a dystopian novel. It was Love at First Sight. Very important novel, and it is novel Catch 22 by Joseph Haller, published in the year 1961. I repeat the opening line: "It was love at first sight." Love at First Sight, Joseph Haller, Catch 22, year 1961. This novel, Catch 22, is important as there are three more novels which are often used with this novel, sometime in chronology or in different way. First is Catch 22, second one is Invisible Man, third one is Their Eyes Were Watching God, and fourth one is Color Purple. So these novels are mostly used, and sometime their opening line is asked, so this line is quoted. And hence, it was Love at First Sight, Joseph Haller, Catch 22, 1961. Do remember the year of publication also, because many a time in the chronology the year is also asked. So does the opening too. So in that sense, these are very important terms, or years, or publication, and even the characterization, who is the hero, heroine, we have to remember all this. The fifth one is one of the most famous opening of English literature, and many of we are aware about this opening in advance. And the line is, "It is truth, universally acknowledged." And the very famous line is from Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, 1813. This novel's opening is important, as well as the characters, their profession, and the family, big families. Hence, this line, and very important line. This is cannot be ignored, and several times it is asked. So does the characters and works of Jane Austen. The next line, as we have discussed in previous lecture or previous debate also, that is "Call Me Ismail." that is Herman Melville's Moby Dick, year 1851. This novel is very important not only for year of publication, but the character hunting and other things, because this novel also remain inspiration for Old Man and the Sea, which is another award-winning novel by American writer. In that sense, you can have that Old Man and the Sea is having inspiration from which novel, and in option there would be Moby Dick. So this novel is also again very important, and the opening is "Call Me Ismail." Very opening words must be remembered, and the very next line is purely based on Herman Melville's adopt or inspirational novel, and that is from Ernest Hemingway Old Man and the Sea, and the opening line is, "He was an old man who fished alone in a skiff in the Gulf Stream and had gone 84 days without having a fish." This is very important novel. Sometime who is companion, the name of boy, or the which type of fish was caught by old man, and what was the weapons he is having, which type of boat it was, which was the shore where he take what he is having at the end of novel when he reached at the shore. And in this way this novel is more important, and several questions are asked from this novel. And next novel is Ralph Ellison Invisible Man, and the very opening is, "I am an invisible man." This novel, as we say, is more important, and sometime four novels are given, and in chronology, like Color Purple or Catch 22, and this novel Invisible Man, Color Purple. So these novels sometimes asked about chronology, hence Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man, year 1952. So this novel is more important when we are checking the very opening of novels, chronology, characters, year, author. So thus its value is more as compared to other. Another important opening is from Albert Camus' famous novel The Outsider, published in 1942, and the opening of line is, "Mother died today or maybe yesterday." Most important novel, absurd novel, existentialist novel, or whatever you call term, name of hero, Morselot, sometime asked in the exam perspective. So you have to take care of this very opening line. And next line is by Jorah Neale Hudson, "Their eyes were watching God," published in year 1937, and the very opening line is, "Ships at a distance have every man's wish on board." I repeat again, "Ships at a distance have every man's wish on the board." These these very opening lines are most famous in literature, and as we talked earlier, again, that this novel, its publication, characters, how many type of life, with whom heroine is married first, second, and thrice, what was her business, why she returned to her native land. These questions are important, at least for UGC perspective, and hence this novel is important. And this asked frequently in chronology too, so the value of this work is more. Next is Alice Walker's The Color Purple, published year 1982. This novel again important from different views, different angles, different perspective, and having the opening following thus, "You better not never tell anybody but God, it would kill your mama." This is again very important line and cannot be ignored from other way. Chronology, characterization, name of sister, brother, children, and other way. Meaning of color purple also. So everything we have to remember, with whom character is married, with whom which character take divorce, what is the ending. Especially ending is more important in this novel, and title of color purple too. In this way you are having separate things. And next line is from another important novel, Vladimir Nabokov's Lolita, published year 1955, and the very opening line is Lolita, light of my life, fire of my life. Most important line when you are checking from UGC perspective, and even in literature, the value of this novel is out- outstanding. So do remember Vladimir Nabokov's Lolita 1955, Lolita, light of my life, fire of my life. So most important. And another next line is Leo Tolstoy, Anna Karenina, published year 1877. Sometime Tolstoy's novels are given, and they are asked chronology of it, several novels of him are quoted, and you have to tell which novel comes first. And Anna Karenina is another famous novel that has opening, happy families are alike and every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Very important opening for UGC, we have to remember. And last but not least, although we will discuss more about it, but important is the very opening line from James Joyce's Portrait of Artist as a Young Man, published year 1916. And the line is, once upon a time and every good time it was. This is very opening from Portrait of Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce, published in year 1916. So this is a kind of list that I make from different sources and angles, but it does not mean that it ends here. There is Ulysses novel from him that is more important. French Kafka's two novel or semi novel, you can say, Metamorphosis, Trial, or there is one more, The Castle. The opening of all three novels is more important. Several times it is asked, and uh, if we are having more focus on these type of works or some points which others are not quoting, then it would be more easy for us. For example, George Samsa, one fine morning, get up and find himself transforming into an insect like creature. That is from the novel Metamorphosis, French Kafka. It is a kind of opening that we have to remember. And similarly, Trial and Castle is more important. In that manner, we are having some important opening, but it does not mean that I include everything. So whenever we are going to read about novel and others, we have to check their opening at least. And Wuthering Heights opening, perhaps we haven't remember. And GB Saw's Arms and the Man, and Lady Mrs. Warren's Profession. So these are few novels, dramas opening that we have to remember. But today we are covering just the novel, and soon we will cover up drama, poetry, and other things. Then we will see such kind of openings. And this is enough for today. And let's see if I will come with another important. If you like my lecture, do subscribe and share with your friends. And with this, I will say thank you.